Hi there. Hello there. Kent Brindley, author, locker room attendant, uh, single guy, resident of South Haven, unpaid movie critic. Unpaid. A lot of my film review videos got a lot of good feedback last year, and then I just stopped. I didn't do them again. I didn't review like Violent Night, Avatar. Uh, oh my goodness, what was the one? Trouble in Paradise. Trouble in Paradise was probably the best movie of the fall. Black Adam. Uh, Trouble in Paradise was probably the best out of all those movies for me. Although I did love Black Adam. Anyway, tonight is about the movies of January. Movies of January. I did see no fewer than four movies this January. In order. In order of appearance. I saw I saw Puss in Boots. I saw Megan. I saw Megan a second time. Okay. I saw a man called Otto. And I just got back from the whale. I just saw the whale. I just saw it tonight. That was the order that I saw them in. Let's talk about the order in which I had actually anticipated these movies. The whale I had just basically just now heard of, but it did come recommended from one of the locals that I trusted. It was an opportunity to hang out with my buddy tonight. It was his birthday weekend, so there you go. A Man Called Otto. Not really a Tom Hanks fan, and I did not read A Man Called Ove. Some Boots. Really? Um, if you're gonna, first of all, the Shrek franchise is worn out. Secondly, if you're gonna make the Shrek franchise, make it a Shrek movie. That and it wore out its welcome for me a while back. Megan. Megan actually looked interesting. Megan actually looked interesting to me. It looked like something I'd enjoy. Strangely, but that's my story. The order in which I actually ended up enjoying these movies. Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots is back. There's a female cat. There's a little chihuahua who should have probably been split up between the two cats to form a meal. Or or better yet, served to Jack Corner and Goldilocks and the three bears who were the villains of the picture. Yeah, I'd have seen that movie. Yappy little chihuahua about team friendship. Except it's a children's movie. So what it was the best nap I had in that theater all January. That was Puss in Boots. Yeah. Let me see this. Uh, The Whale. The Whale. Um, you know, my buddy loved it. He loved this movie tonight, and I don't know what it was. That it was good. I mean, it was a movie that basically took place in one location all night. For that hour and 57 minutes, it was one guy's apartment. He Brendan Fraser was about a 500 pound, 600 pound, give or take some chump change, English teacher. Uh, Named Charlie. Obviously, he's struggling with heart disease. He's got some health issues if he's this large. He's not that active because he can barely get off the sofa. He's an English teacher because he's still doing virtual online learning and simply never turning on his camera while the students are expected to use theirs. Anyway, we meet Charlie. We meet Thomas as a missionary minister who will not quit coming into his home. We meet Liz, who is acting like his love interest at times, but is actually just there to take care of him. And we meet his estranged wife, Mary, and his estranged daughter, whose name escapes me. Anyway, he's trying to make better with his estranged daughter. He's trying to be the one person in his daughter's life who understands her after he's also the same one who walked out on the family 10 years prior. The mother is still in the daughter's life and barely wants anything to do with her, barely wants to see any good in her at all. The father, Brendan Fraser's character, would very much like to continue to see her and spend time with her, including but not limited to giving her her inheritance early of money that he's been keeping from everyone, keeping secret from everyone else. Oh yeah, and there's the side story that he left his wife and daughter for a college co-ed, one of his students who turned out to be a guy. So it's built in that he's also homosexual and lost his partner very recently. The character of Liz, that's his late partner's sister. So all of a sudden there's this huge dynamic about the missionary person who will not quit coming into his home and visiting with him about the gospel and about salvation. This goes on for an hour and 57 minutes, like I said. And his daughter comes and goes with her English projects or with her writings, which she now expects her father to do for her, while she's the one being basically paid to even pay him a visit. He's doing what he knows how to do to get her back in his life somehow before he has to say goodbye to this world because, again, he's no longer a spring chicken and he has to be 500, 600 pounds because he now can barely walk, let alone do much else to lose weight. Oh yeah, and he's on a walker, but he's in a second story walk up. You know, yeah, okay. Second story walk up obviously had to come at a younger age, around the time that he first left his family. But it was a good movie. It was a good lot of character building moments. Number two. Number two. Megan. Megan. Um, Again, I saw Megan twice because twice I was supposed to meet a friend at this movie and it never panned out. But it was a it was a pretty good movie. I mean, it was definitely sci-fi. It wasn't really horror until about 75% of the way through the movie. Maybe 50% of the way through she started acting up, but you have a robot who's constantly learning, who is constantly connected to the internet, and has no parental controls and no guidance. Yes, she is going to start acting up, especially when she is supposed to be universally linked to one user who she then thinks that she's constantly protecting. And there's the side story about little Katie who just lost her parents and her aunt Gemma who is not ready for a kid and now has one because she is basically the guardian of Katie's guardian now until she invents Megan to help out around the house and thinks that she can use Megan as the next big project for her tech toy company. There are scenes in this movie that are pretty intense. Helps the movie go along really fast. And it's honestly pretty well done, I thought. Okay, that was number two. Oh, number number one. Number one in the movies of January. A man called Otto. A man called Otto. Based on the book A Man Called Ove, based on the European movie A Man Called Ove. I've not read the book. I have not read this book yet. I know it was recommended to me. I just didn't read it. I am honestly not usually a Tom Hanks fan. Tom Hanks usually has this natural talent to make his movies drag on forever for me. See, for instance, Castaway or The Terminal. Forrest Gump is a little better than some of his other works, but not by much for me. Then there is A Man Called Otto. A Man Called Otto is the perfect dramedy. 1 minute you're snort laughing, almost rolling in the aisles. 5 minutes later, you want to reach for a Kleenex that's not there. 5 minutes after that, embarrassing snort laughter. 5 minutes after that, I know Tom Hanks. I know he makes dramatic movies. Why did I not bring a hanky? if for no one else than for the friend who I'm there with seeing this movie. Otto first comes across as extremely curmudgeonly and extremely hard-hearted. He comes across as a man who has very little use for anyone else or for the modern world. In fact, barely 4 minutes into the movie, he is ready to hang himself and leave the modern world behind. A knock at the door stops him from doing so. Then he meets his new neighbors. An immigrant family, a young immigrant family with two young daughters and a young mother and father. Unlike the other neighbors in the neighborhood who gave up on Otto a long time ago, this new family will simply not leave him be. Coming to find out, Otto is a little deeper of an individual than he originally came across. That and there's a cat involved somewhere. A cat who does not, in fact, have a face in the shape of the sun. It's not the sun. Look, its ears, its eyeballs, its whiskers. It's the same kind of neutral scowl that Otto has. Excellent movie. It is 2 hours and 6 minutes, but it was my favorite movie of January. And this was a Tom Hanks film. Who knew? It's just like when I went and saw. Oh, wow. It was another movie last summer that I went and saw. Another movie based on a very popular book right now, but I hadn't read the book yet. I'd immediately turn right around and read the book, and I really enjoyed it. Where the Crawdads Sing. That's it. It's just like Where the Crawdads Sing, in which I had to turn right around and read the book after seeing the movie because the movie was so good. And any comparison between A Man Called Otto and Where the Crawdads Sing ends right there. Because honestly, A Man Called Otto was far superior in almost every other aspect to Where the Crawdads Sing. So far, A Man Called Otto may be the very best movie of winter. For me. Of course, I'm comparing it to Avatar and to Violent Night as well. Well, there you have it. Those were the movies of January. I'm Kent Gridley, movie critic, unpaid movie critic. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll see you toward the end of February.